It's time to radically rethink our notions of who belongs in higher education. From 1995 to 2011, I taught a high school special education class of students who didn't fit into the usual boxes. They didn't have intellectual disabilities, but they didn't have specific learning disabilities either. They were academically delayed across the board. They had general learning disabilities. We called them the gray area kids, and there are gray area kids in every school. I had a colleague ask me once what happened to my students once they finished high school, and I had to admit that far too often their outcomes were not very good. If they were able to find work, it was generally low skill and low wage, and far too often they were involved in the social services system or the criminal justice system. Even if they did want to go on to continue their education, they had an alternative diploma and they couldn't access those programs. Now, students with intellectual disability have been part of specialized programs in colleges for the last several decades, and the emerging research shows that they genuinely benefit from these experiences over the long term. Unfortunately, those programs are usually limited to students with intellectual disability. The gray area students are out of luck again. But what if they were able to access higher education? What could they learn? What impact would it have on their lives long term? When I began reading the research, I discovered that professionals knew about students with general learning disabilities, but they knew very little from students with general learning disabilities. We don't know what they think of their learning. We don't know what their long-term educational goals are. So for my research, I will be talking to high school seniors who meet this criteria and ask them these questions and more. Back when I was teaching, I asked my high school students why they wanted to go to college beyond the usual, they wanted to get a better job afterwards. One student very simply said to me, "Mrs. K, you go to college to get smarter." What if we challenged higher education to make more people smarter? Disability studies scholar Douglas Bainton wrote that disability is one of the enduring justifications for inequality in our society. Do we want to perpetuate this inequality, or do we want to open the doors of the academy to create more pathways for more students of all abilities to come together to learn to solve the problems that face all of us? It's time to begin building those bridges. Thank you.